not saying that's what's gonna happen here, but what if that did happen? The most of the fix and flips that I've done, for another tool that you can use is the scarcity tool. What did they offer? Just say it like very matter of fact. Oh, they offered $270. Really? And what's the reason you didn't move forward with that offer? This, and that. Like there's something about that offer where they didn't feel 100% comfortable with them. Well, I'm just looking to get the highest offer. Okay, that's understandable. So other than like the specific number that you had in mind, what else is important for you? What else are you looking for in that offer that you decide to move forward? Where I'm just looking for the highest offer. If you acknowledge that price is the only thing, because what I'm trying to do first, Dan, is figure out if I can create uncertainty or doubt around that other offer. And a lot of times through learning the process, you can, because you can ask questions around, you know, how much money was in there. Did they send it in writing? A lot of times they haven't sent the offer in writing. So I can create some uncertainty around there. Oh, they haven't sent it in writing? Really? How come? Because typically, like, if we agree on price, I mean, I can send you this in writing like today. What was the reason they didn't send it in writing? That's strange. So did they send it in writing? Why haven't you moved forward with that offer? What was in their escrow? What was in their proof of funds? Like, if they have sent it in writing, then I gotta dive a little bit deeper into like specific questions. Because I'm trying to kind of like burn the ships on everybody else and let them know that like I'm real, I'm the real deal. But you can't say that, because if you say that, they're gonna naturally move towards that. Just human psychology. So why didn't you move forward? What was the offer? Did they send it in writing? Have you had a chance to open it up and review it? What were the terms? You know, what was in their proof of funds? Blah, 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 blah. You know, what's more important for you? Is it one good question that I asked you that's here in your objection is, if all things were the same, like price were the same, everything was the same, how would you know which offer to move forward with? And a lot of times they're going to give you an in. Like, I want to make sure that they're local, that they're this, that they're that they've seen the house. And maybe that's enough for you to move and close. But if they don't give you an in and they just say price, 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 then you have to get into, well, what I'm hearing is like, you're just stuck on like, you want the most amount of money, right? Possible? Is that more important than like a reliable offer, right? If they've expressed that certainty is important for them, you know, like what's more important for you? Is it just whoever's telling you like, hey, look, I'm going to give you the most amount of money? Or is it like someone that's actually going to close and get this done for you? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Because you expressed to me, Maria, that like, you need to get this done in 30 days, right?
Right.
So, and then you get into the third party story. I actually worked with Tom recently, and it was the same situation. Like, he just wanted to get the most money. And I was like, look, Tom, it's okay. You know, there was somebody else that came in and offered a little bit more, and that's okay. You want to get the most amount of money, that's perfectly fine. He went forward, moved forward with that offer. He packed all this stuff. He had it in his truck. He was going to move over to Texas. It's, you know, a complete different situation, right? But the day of closing, they came back and they told him, sorry, we can't pay what we said we were going to pay. And he was so distraught. He was so heartbroken. He called me and he's like, look, Dan, I have all my stuff in a truck. I'm ready to move to Texas. And like, these people are backing out. It was so disappointing, because it was the same thing. He wanted the most amount of money, but like they didn't really come through. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here, Maria, but what if that did happen? How would that impact you? If there's enough pain point and distress, so it always goes back then to how can we get them out of a rational conversation and back to the emotional conversation.
Right.
Because if you're at 250 and he's at 270, like the 270 is going to win. Unless we can get them to self-discover on how that 270 isn't a real deal, or it's a fake offer, or they're uncertain, or it's not going to get them exactly what they need, and you are.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So practice these, because we're talking about different levels of the conversation. Adam's was like introduction. Yours is once you're in the ball and you actually have an offer in place, how do I get it to the finish line? So what I would do for you, Dan, is print out these objection handlers that are after the offer. Is, you know, what happens after the offer. Another tool that you can use is the scarcity tool, which is where you kind of let them know, like, look, I'm looking at other offers and other people, and like if I move forward with somebody else today, I'm not certain that the money's going to be available tomorrow. Those are your two key things, uncertainty and scarcity. But you also have to make a business decision. Is that other offer like a little bit higher, and can you get to that number? If you can, get to it, and if all else fails, you can come back and renegotiate. Like, how? And is that one you did over the phone, or did you do that in person?
I went in person because she was open to listing it as well. So like I presented both, and she was like, "Nah, I just want to go cash."
Yeah, because in person, the multiple offer situation, it's tricky to do over the phone because what a lot of times what I try to do is be the last one in. Like, hey,
Right.
look, I can't guarantee that like if you call me next week, we'll have this available. But here's what I like to do before you do move forward. Let me just talk to you. I'll run it by the partners and see if we can get to that number. If we can, great. If not, like at least we had a chance to come in and see what we could do. I've done that over the phone, and sometimes there's enough rapport where they'll wait for me, but sometimes they just go with whoever calls them. But in person, it's even more impactful because you can come in and kind of lock in and be like, what's more important for you? Is it like getting this done or like hoping that someone's going to give me like another 10K somewhere, right? Like, if that's really important to you, if I can get you that 10K, is this something that you're ready to move forward and move on today? Well, I want to talk to the other person. I'm confused, Maria, because you said you couldn't stand to be in this house one more day. If you talk to 10, more people, like chances are it's going to take you a lot longer to get out of this situation. So like, what's more important? Getting this done and getting this taken care of, or like hoping you get another 10K somewhere? Like now I'm getting into like but in person, that's like super impactful because you're there, and like 9 out of 10 times you can get them to like give you the number. But I think it's two pieces. Can we eliminate those objections before and handle them? That way you're prepared, and fuck it. If you can give them the extra 10K, give it to them.
Right.
Or like once you're there, you gotta stay in that uncomfort. A great question too is like, what's a number that if I can get it to you today, you'll move forward and you don't have to talk to anybody else. Oh, if you can give me 270, you'll move forward. Okay. And you try to see, you redo your numbers and lock it in. I'd rather lock it in like 10K higher than lose a deal over 10K.
Right. Because I could always renegotiate later.
Yeah, but don't lose it over 10K. But ask like, what's a today number? That if I can get it for you today, you'll move forward on. And if that number works, run with it and renegotiate later. Yeah, practice these, Dan. And if you want next week, we'll spend some time role playing these. But this is where the magic happens after you've given your offer, handling all of these objections.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Hi.
Hey.
Quick question. If you're not a realtor and you figure that it's better to post it, what route do I take in my case, or what do we do?
What do you mean by post it? Can you give me clarity on that?
Yeah, like listing it.
You partner with all the agents we have here. There's a ton of agents here
got you.
Yeah, build a relationship with a local agent, and they could be your partners, and you could send them the deals.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody in South Florida, message Nayeli. She's looking for agents. Hey, Mark. What's up?
Hi, how are you? So, we've been working with Connie and Michael.
Yep.
I just wanted to bring up what happened yesterday. She actually called me and she said, I just wanted to let you know what was going on. And because she does not know the relationship that you and I have, I asked her what her two offers were, and she told me because I'm not coming from that perspective. And I said, she told, well, your offer was at 196, and then the other offer was at 276, which you and I both know is like not real. And I said, well, so tell me, Connie, I'm just curious, did the other offer, did they have an inspection period? Yes, they did. How long was that for? 15 days. Okay, I guess, how would that be for you and Michael if, during that 15, and I'm curious, did the contract show that it was assignable? Yes, it is. So I'm curious, it sounds like what this investor or this higher offer is doing is they're taking 2 weeks of your time to be able to shop and see if they can just make a quick dollar. Is that something that you're okay with? Well, I mean, if we listed it with you, it would take time. How long would it take? So I got to that spot and I said, well, how many offers did you receive, Connie? And she said, well, we've only done 2. The attorney said we should get 3. Maybe you heard her say that.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yes. I guess I'm curious, the last one that we did for someone, we put it on the open market. I asked her, I said, do you see any disadvantage to going on the open market? And I said, because she got it on the open market, and she said, no, those investors will always be there. I said, it's not like they're a charitable organization. I said, yeah, you can always go back to that. I said, we got her 4 offers and they were higher than the other offers that she had from the investors. Now I'm converting back to a listing
Right.
because I know that you might not even have a chance at your number. And she said, yeah, but you know, how long would it take on a listing? And she still wanted to go back to this 276. Is there anything that you feel that I perhaps should have done differently?
Yeah, why don't you list it with like a short listing agreement? Price it competitively enough where you're like, look, what if we could, I could have a property under contract in like 30 days. This is what we would need to list it at, and I can get you X amount of offers. Like,
Okay.
It's always easier to get an extension in the 30 days if because you've got them kind of locked in on something.
Right.
And then
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would try to do. I'm gonna check my innovation numbers and let you know today where we need to be. But like, if we can't overcome that 270 objection, I'd rather just not lock it in at a number where it's not gonna make sense. It's different from the example with Dan, because if we're 10K apart, 10K is not a lot. Like 10,
Right.
5, 10. But if I'm at 200 and they need 270, and like, yeah, I'm not gonna bridge the gap 70K. I think I could have made it work in innovation at 250. So what I would do is shorten the gap between what they think it's gonna take to get it sold on the market versus what you can do, and just let them
Okay.
see, like, if we price it at this number, chances are we're gonna have more offers at, you know, in X time, and see if you can get it locked in.
I was at 260. What, as far as a listing number, and I know
No
it would
way.
sell like that. So I need to get off of my concern about having a 6-month listing
Yeah.
and ask her, well, what time frame would you be okay with? And if she says 30 days, that's still too short for me. How would you get around that then?
30 days to get an offer. So if you can, within 30 days, get an offer, tell her, look, why don't we do this? Why don't we get an agreement signed in 30 days? I'll have an offer for you in 30 days. If I don't, like, you guys can do whatever you need to do. And then once you have an agreement for 30 days, you can always get an extension, Mark. Like, once they have an offer, they're going to extend it, right?
Okay.
So I'm trying to get you to think creatively, because where a lot of agents fail is like, I'll only take a listing at 6%, or I'll only do this, or I'll only do that. Versus if you've got
That's
them,
not real. Yeah.
is there enough motivation is what you got to ask yourself. Yes. And if there is, I'll take a crack at it. I'll do a 30-day listing and then get an extension, because by then they love you. You're doing a high level of service, and you can ask for an extension.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Let's go. What's up, Fonso?
Hi everyone. So I have a question, but I know I'm conscious of time. I have this opportunity for a fix and flip, but
Let's go.
I basically already have the listing, and my sellers don't want to pay commissions because they're going through a divorce, so they need to net a certain amount of money. I was doing the math, and if like I buy it, for instance, I can save the money on commissions, and then I would flip it. But I pulled up the calculator, and I know I've seen Kevin use it a bunch of times, but I just can't figure it out.
Okay, let's
Would
do
we
it
be
right
able
now.
to quickly analyze it?
Yeah, let's do it right now. Do you have ARV for me?
Yeah, so it's 849 ARV.
Okay, let's look at it real quick.
And I have the contractors who can do the work really cheap
Make
and
sure
then
you
make it look nice.
give yourself an inspection period to go in and actually get real. Like, if you're buying the property yourself, a couple things you got to look at is like the funding piece, and
Mhm.
then you actually have to get real bids from a real contractor. And like, I would do an actual inspection if you're buying the deal. Don't like.
I just did it yesterday.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we did a pre-inspection for the listing.
Okay, perfect. So it's what, 850?
Yeah, I would say 850.
And how much
It probably
work?
could go for more, but 850 would be conservative.
How much work does it need?
Honestly, I would say like no more than 20.
That seems really low. What are you trying to do? Cosmetic?
So we're just gonna do flooring. We're gonna do the paint inside has been done recently. The new roof has been done. So we're just gonna, one of the bathrooms looks really, really nice because it's never been used. The husband has lived there for 3 years by himself, so he only uses one of the bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the bathrooms honestly just needs like the cabin, the vanity painted, like the toilet seat. The kitchen counters are messy, like they're cracked. They're like tile and they're cracked. So I would say like 20. I got 2 different bids, and
20 seems low. Anything you get, I would
Yeah.
add like an extra 10K to that.
okay, so let's do 30.
Yeah. So
Okay.
what you always have to think on a fix and flip is this 850 number are the renovations that I'm gonna do gonna get me to look exactly like this 850 number? Because the
Okay.
biggest mistake you can make is you're, underestimating what your rental costs are. So that 850, if my 30,000 budget isn't gonna get me to 850, what would it take to get me to 850? And if my 30,000 budget is gonna get me to look like the comp that sold to 800,000, then that's a more realistic number. So your ARV is what the standards that you're renovating up to.
I see.
So if the standards that I'm renovating up to with 30,000 is gonna get me to look like an 800,000 property, then that's what my budget needs to be. But for you to get to 850, if that's your best comp, I guarantee you, if that's like fully picked
The
out.
best comp is 885.
Okay, so at that 850, is it gonna look exactly like your place if you put 30,000?
The 885, no, it's gonna look a little less.
With 30,000, is it gonna look like the 850?
Yeah, with 30,000, it'll look like an 850.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very conservative with repairs because it always ends up being more than what you think it is. If your guys quote you for 20, I'm naturally gonna add like 10K to it because I know that there's gonna be more. And also, are you accounting your materials costs into this, or is it just labor?
Yeah, I really have the best contractor though. He's worked on all my family's homes, even my new one, and he's like dirt cheap, but he does amazing work.
Yeah, keep working
I know,
with
even
him.
when I'm like, Jose, you gotta charge more. And he's like, no, but if I charge more, then I'm not gonna get business. And so he honestly, it's like, I keep him kind of secret because he's amazing.
No, yeah, I mean, your best people, you don't want to give them away. So just make sure you're accounting for materials costs. On the first renovation that I did, I was like, it's gonna cost me 10,000, and then I didn't factor in how much materials cost, and it does add up. So just as long as in that 30,000 is your labor and your materials, if your guy does it dirt cheap, amazing, but add a buffer for yourself. So 30,000. You're an agent, right? So you're not really gonna pay a full 6%. You're paying 3% to the buyer's agent plus your closing costs to buy and sell. So maybe I would bring this down to like 6%. And then how much money do you want to make on this deal?
Honestly, if I can make like 40,000, that'd be better than listing it.
Okay. So have you talked about offers with the seller and what they're looking for?
Yeah, so they need they owe 600,000 on the property, and they need to walk away with 150, so they would need to let it go at 750.
750.
I know it's tight.
No, I wouldn't do this deal.
You wouldn't?
No, I would offer them. Wait, no, because do you see how we're getting tighter and tighter with our? So at 743, let's say you're making 25,000. That's a 3% profit margin. That's not a juicy deal.
Yeah, especially for all the work, it's like almost like listing it and just collecting the commission.
No, I wouldn't do it because it's not enough money. I mean, I'm okay with making 40,000 in a deal that I'm only investing 30,000, but it's all relative to what my holding costs are and how long it's gonna take me to sell. So let's say you're at 10%.
I pulled the comps too, and the other two properties that sold for, let's see, 885. One sold for 860, like similar model, but this one, mine is actually bigger, and it sold within 5 days. And then the other one at 885 sold within 2 months.
Yeah, so they're selling quickly, but depending on the condition. I would feel more comfortable if you did this
5 days.
I would feel comfortable if you did this at 700. 750, that extra 50K, you need that. You need that margin. So I would just explain to them the numbers, the amount of time that the properties are taking to sell. Like I would do this at 700.
700, okay.
And then the other piece is, are you using private money?
So that's what I would need help with. Like maybe partner up with you guys for that, because I just bought a house, as you know, so I have no money.
Yeah, so let's say you're doing 10% as a down payment. That's $68,000. Your interest rate, let's say it's 10%. I don't have taxes and insurance, so like let's forget those numbers.
There's no HOA.
There's no HOA. Taxes in California are pretty expensive. What's like the taxes on
1.25? So on like let's say 800, like 833. Oh, for the yearly 2,000. Yeah.
2,000. Okay, that seems low, but yeah, I don't know insurance costs there, but I'm just giving you like off the top rough numbers. If it takes you 3 months to sell this property, 10%, You're a new investor, Fonso, so
Yeah.
you're looking at closer to 15 to 20% on private money terms because you don't have experience. I may be able to get you 10%, but if you do this deal close to 700, you've got some room. You've got 68,000. If your guy really does pull through and get this done for 20,000, great. There's a little bit more money there, and then you could potentially make 50,000 if you sell this property quicker. Obviously, you have to.
Is that the 50,000, Liz? Is that after like the payment to the private investor and everything like that?
Your holding costs on this are gonna be 17,000.
Okay.
So that's
and the holding cost is like basically what it'll take if it doesn't sell in 3 months, right?
Holding costs is, so once you have a hard money loan in place, you're paying that lender every single month the cost of the money. So
I see.
so it's, let's say it's 10% of, I think it's 7,000.
But he'd still need a down payment though, Liz.
Yep, you need that 100,000.
105,000.
Which there's ways around this, Fonso. Like once you get really good at raising private capital, you can bring on a partner or get a bridge loan where someone will give you that 105,000 and lend it to you. It has to be someone that trusts you because they're gonna be in second position and the hard money lender is gonna be in first. So it's getting really creative with the terms. Or you could bring a family member, a friend, a partner, and tell them, look, I've got this great deal. You put in the down payment, I handle the reno. I've got this bomb ass guy that can do the renovation. And then once we sell the property, we can split it or you give him 40%, however you want to structure it. The most of the fix and flips that I've done have been where someone puts in the money, that's where private money comes in, or where we built a solid relationship with the hard money lender and they're letting us do this for like no money down or 10% down. Yeah.
So if I get like, let's say a family member who can lend me the 70,000 and then I end up agreeing to pay them a portion of the net profit, but I also have to pay the private lender, so it'll be split in 3 ways, right?
Not really 3 ways. Your private money fees are just, it's a set fees. You're paying them every single month. So if it takes you,
I see.
Yeah, it's a monthly, think of it like a mortgage. Whatever
So
you're
I don't
paying.
pay them a percentage of the proceeds, just like every month.
Every month, yeah.
Got it.
It's
but
like
the person who like hypothetically lends me the down payment money, I would like give them a percentage.
if you want to, or you could just say, look, I need 70,000 and I'll give you a 10% return on this in 3 to 6 months. You don't have to agree to anything. The beauty about once you're getting into raising money is that it's all about what you can negotiate. So you can come to your uncle and be like, you've got 70,000 sitting in the bank. I've got this project. You put in the 70,000 and I'll pay you a 10% return in, less than 6 months. Would you want to participate on this? So someone could actually lend you the 70,000. Now, it's a lot easier if they lend you the full amount, the 700, because they are first lien position. Meaning if you lose your butt in that house, they get to keep the house. That's where the business of hard money lending is. They're lending you 700, but if you lose your butt on this house, they keep that house. But this 70,000 isn't secured. So that's where building really good relationships comes in. Or you could just bring a partner and tell them, I've got this great deal, let's partner together. But if you bring a partner, Fonso, now this little bucket here, out of this 50,000, now you're only making 25. So is it worth it for someone to put 70,000 if they're gonna make 25? Potentially. Yeah. So,
or even for me, because I could. So they are willing to pay a listing fee, a commission, but not the buyer's commission. So I'm like, might as well just like figure it out, split my commission with the buyer's agent, and then avoid all the. Because there isn't a lot of meat on it. It's just an opportunity that it needs like some light TLC. That's why I thought about possibly being a fix and flip. But
it could work. Yeah, fix and flips are great, but in this market that we're in, it has to be a no-brainer because think of all the risk that goes with it. So, there's holding costs. So you have to have the 17,000 every single month, Fonso, to pay 18,000, right? So you got a budget for 3 months. I'm actually budgeting now on flips 5 or 6 months because they're saying
that's every month or like it's divided by
each month. Yeah. let's say
Okay, so
you're
it's like 6,000 a month for that one.
Mhm.
Got it.
plus utilities like insurance, taxes, everything,
Mhm.
light bill, yeah. So unless it's a no-brainer, it's not a deal that I'm gonna move on with something such a tight
Mhm.
margin. I'll give you another
see.
idea, Afonso. Can you
Mhm.
come in, put in the money to get the house looking like where it needs to be, and then
Mhm.
structure a partnership with the seller? Because that way you're avoiding all of this down here
Mm-hmm.
and you're still getting the deal done. So
You mean like novation?
mm-hmm. Hey, Mr. Seller, we've got plan A, I can list it for you, and this is a direction, or plan B, I can come in, do the work that needs to be done on the property, and then we're gonna have a partnership where once the property sells, I'm gonna make my commission in this much and get my money back, and you guys are gonna make this much. So if you can switch it up and structure it as a partnership, it's gonna make a lot more sense for both parties.